Mr. Kamali and Ron. It is 7:01. Just give you a heads up so that we could start. You guys good? All right, let me reopen my package because I'm not even sure why. Okay. Melly, we're good?
Yeah, for sure.
She's so lucky. 7:02. Oops. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Today, June 2nd. It is a Tuesday at 7:02 p.m. This is the legislative meeting of Mayor and Council for the city of Rainier, and it's an in-person meeting. So we're going to start with item number 1, call to order. Jenny?
Present.
Danielle?
Here.
Valerie?
I'm here.
And Joseph?
Virtually here.
Okay, so Councilmember Jakuda is going to be joining us virtually through audio here. So he's here, okay? So visually here. All right, thank you, Joseph. All right, and I'm here, so we have a full quorum for the meeting. All right, so I ask for you guys to please stand to do the Pledge of Allegiance. Okay, ready to begin? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to which republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, for liberty and justice for all. All right, let's take a seat. Thank you guys so much. Okay, we're going to move on to item number 2, review of the agenda. Mayor and Council will review the agenda for the meeting, adding or deleting topics of interest of discussion. So we did the call of order, pledge of allegiance. We're reviewing the agenda. Item number 3, Mayor and Council events and announcements. Number 4, first reading and adoption resolution number 08-2026, 10 minutes. The Mayor and Council will have the first reading of an adoption resolution number 08-2026, appointment of Ms. Elise Moore to the Legacy Mixed Use Town Center, and acknowledgement to Ms. Elena Brevy for her outstanding work for the LMUTC, and this is a voting item. Item number 5, first reading adoption of the emergency ordinance 09-2026, 10 minutes. The Mayor and Council will have the first reading and adoption of emergency ordinance 09-2026 budget amendment number 2. This is up for a vote, and this was reviewed in the last work session by our team. Item number 6, the city manager's report. Our city manager, Kurush Kamali, will present his report to the Mayor and Council and the community. A big overview because he's a little bit under the weather. Item number 7 will be public comment. It says see page 3 of the agenda where the rules of public comments are listed. If you wish to speak, please advise during the meeting. So there is a clipboard that is in the chair. If anybody would like to speak during public comment, just sign yourself up and they'll bring it up and we'll call you in order that you sign up, okay? Under new business, item number 8, presentation, discussion, and vote on city priorities. MML legislative large. We're gonna have to take away the S, or if you want to do more than 3, and how the legislative process works for municipality. Mayor Benitez will present the process for establishing the city legislative priorities and how they work, as well as the process used to identify key legislation to track, testify on, and how legislative priorities are identified. This is a voting item as well. Item number 9, resolution 09-2026, a resolution of the council of the city of Rainier censuring Mayor Selena Benitez for violating the council rules and procedures and for conducting inconsistently with the duties of presiding officers. That's 20 minutes. Councilor Daniel Carr will introduce a resolution to censure Mayor Selena Benitez for violating the rules and council rules and procedures and for conducting inconsistent with duties of the presiding officer. That is up for a vote. Item number 10, discussion and vote on FY 2027 legislative calendar. 15 minutes. Councilmember Jenny Halfpower will present the FY 2027 legislative calendar to the Mayor and Council. We did have a discussion on this on the last work session, and it's up for a vote. Item number 11, vote on approval of minutes. The Mayor and Council will vote on approving the minutes for April 21st, 2026 work session and FY 2027 budget meeting, as well as the May 5th, 2026 legislative meeting. This is up for a vote. Item number 12, presentation of minutes. The city clerk will present the May 19, 2026 work session minutes to the Mayor and Council. Item number 13 will be adjournment. And Upcoming events, our Rainier Pride Day celebration will be held on June 27 at 10:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. And the parade starts at Thomasstone Elementary and it will end at the Gateway Farmers Market. In June, we have established resolutions, proclamations, resolutions for Pride Month and also Juneteenth. All right, and we ask for everybody to mute their mobile devices while in the meeting. All right. All right, I have read through the agenda. I need to hear from council if there's any items you would like to add, delete to this agenda.
Mayor,
Go ahead, Valerie.
I would like to remove number 9, the resolution number 9-2026, the resolution of the Council of City Mount Rainier censuring the mayor. I would like to remove that from the agenda.
Okay, there is a proposal for item number 9 to be removed from the agenda. Any feedback or comments? Go.
Mayor, I think that some of the concerns that originally developed that led to this will actually be talked about in 8 as we work through that for next year. So I'm fine with that.
Okay, so you're in support of removing it, Joseph, as well?
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. I'm going to go with Jenny and Danielle. I need to know if you're in support or not of removing item number 9 from the agenda. Go ahead, Danielle.
Jenny, I'll let Jenny speak in a minute.
Okay, but I called on you.
That's fine. I'm fine with removing it under one condition. I do have a statement that I'd like to make. That is the only reason I'd like to keep it on the agenda.
Okay, Jenny?
I'm fine with removing it. I'm fine with removing it.
Okay, so at this moment, I'm also gonna go ahead and add to remove item number 9 from the agenda itself. There is 4 members of this body who wish to remove item number 9 from the agenda, so item number 9 will be struck out from the agenda. Okay? Is there any other item you guys would like to discuss to add or remove? You guys, can we please keep the quorum in the meeting? You know the rules. We go through council first, so they could give us a feedback of what the working agenda is, and we move forward. We have consensus, and the decision of 4 of us is to remove the item. All right. Is there any other item people would like to add or delete from this agenda? Hearing none, I need to hear a variable vote to make sure we move with the agenda as amended. All right, Joseph, I'm going to go with you first because you're virtually.
Aye.
Valerie?
Aye.
Danielle?
Aye.
Jenny?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. We have a working agenda for tonight. Thank you guys so much. Item number 3, Mayor and Council members, events and announcement. So who did I start with? Jenny, did I start with you for attendance? Okay, so Valerie, I'm going to go to the other end. Go ahead.
Yes, thank you. As noted in the agenda, the Pride Parade is on June 27th. Lineup starts at 10 a.m. The parade begins at 10:30, and the event concludes at 12:30 p.m. at the Gateway Farmers Market. So it's a short and sweet and fun Pride event. I hope you all can come in and attend. Thank you.
Thank you. And big thank you to the rec committee for continuing putting it together. All right, Danielle, your events?
The only event I have this month is the CERT team, which is the 27th. 22nd. They will be doing a first aid refresher here in the council chambers at 7:00 p.m. It is not a certification. It's just a practical to go over.
Who do they contact to sign up?
They just show up.
You just show up? Okay.
Yeah, just show up. CERT meetings are open to the community.
Okay.
Anybody can show up.
All right, but if you have questions, the CERT committee, Danielle is the liaison and Melissa's also leading as well. Jenny, go ahead.
I don't have an event, but the only announcement I have is that if people are interested in restarting the tool library, I would like them to reach out to me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Joseph, go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor. The next Green Team meeting will be Tuesday, June 23rd at 7 o'clock, and this will be in person at City Hall. Additionally, both the Green Team and the Tree Commission are seeking new members. So please apply on our city website if you're interested in either of those committees. I think Tree Commission needs 2 and Green Team needs 1.
Oh, perfect. Thank you so much. So, I don't have to do a lot of ones 30 days. So a couple ones, Trolley Trail, it is on June 13th, Saturday, from 9 a.m. And we are going to have a stop in Memorial Park. As you guys know, we've been working on finding ways to elongate the trail to cover Brentwood and Mount Rainier. So it's a way to continue visualizing in what way we'll continue uniting Route 1 in order to be able to participate, but at the same time, help with economic growth in the city as well. So thank you to all the wonderful organizers for making sure that they added the additional stops so that we're also included. So Memorial Park, if you guys would like to join. The other thing is big thank you to Rainier Elementary and Cesar Chavez Elementary. They had career days and I was happy to be invited and join them. For my Rainier Day, we also had our police department who joined them. And basically our job is, to go in and let them know what is it that we do and how they could become active participant. And I will tell you that every time I go ahead and talk to them, we do the Junior Mayor Pledge, which basically is letting them know that they have the power and ability to communicate and let us know what they need to remind them that the age of 16 they could vote, that there's scholarships and they're active members of our community, no matter how little they are. So it's always beautiful to see them because some of them I feel like I've grown up with them, right? Every year I go see them and they tell me the latest news about what's happening, right? And also like how scary it is to be able to go from graduating to the 6th grade. So it's a good way to connect with the little ones so that way they could participate. They know they're welcome to our events and figure out if they're looking for another project to do. We're happy to join them. All right. Other than that, everybody should, well, hopefully they got the newsletter, but a big thank you also to our delegation, Delegate Malcolm Augustine, Senator Augustine, Delegate Julian Ivey, and Delegate Fennell. We had a very successful Annapolis season, $1.5 million for our artist lab for infrastructure work, $700,000 for Potts Hole, $500,000 for the Prince George's Gateway Development Authority. And if you guys don't know what that one is a combination of a collective of Mount Rainier, Brentwood, North Brentwood, Cottage City, Calmer, Matter, and Bladensburg. So all the cities coming together to find resources to work in the economic sector. So by legislation, I sit on the board, Mr. Kamali as economic also sits on the board, and the mayors of every city also sit on the board to ideally be able to bring resources when it comes to the Route 1 and the little loop that is around, because we are the gateway entrance to the state. And we feel like we need to make sure that they invest into our communities and cities. So we're very excited for that. And the other one was House Bill 1147. That was a Maryland Municipal League priority, which will give us, which allow for a tax study, because we feel as local municipalities, right, that we need to get more taxes that into our coffers directly, instead of having to go to the state and stuff like that. So a study for money that comes to municipalities and the county is going to be done this summer, not funded by us, thank God, because it's a lot of money, but funded by the legislation in order to assess how much money comes into the municipalities and community. So I will stay with that, and please come out to our Pride event. It's a joyful event, and it ends at the Gateway Farmers Market, so it unites community all across. And the fact that it starts from Thomas Stone is very symbolic because of the fact they want to make sure that kids feel safe in the community, and there's a purpose for us to start there. So it's always very welcome, and it's always a lot of fun, at least I think so. We've been doing how many years?
We started it in 2021 because DC canceled 2 years in a row, and the Recreation Committee that year said, we're not going to go another year without acknowledging our LGBTQ plus community.
Yeah, and it's rain, shine, not thunders, but close enough last time, right? We had a little tiny window and we managed to make it, but it happened. So thank you guys for everybody that joined and came as well. All right, so I got all of you guys, including Joseph. All right, so announcements are done. We'll move on to the next resolution, item number 4. First reading and adoption resolution 08-2026. The mayor and council will have the first reading and adoption resolution number 08-2026. Appointment of Ms. Elise Moore to the Legacy Mixed Use Town Center, known as LMUTC, and acknowledgement of Ms. Alina Bray for her hard work and dedication while serving that same committee. So, we'll first move to the resolution. Joseph, I'm going to pass it to you because this is your committee. Do you need anything else you'd like to add regarding the resolution appointment?
No, I just wanted to thank Ms. Elise Moore for stepping up. She's a principal interior designer with over 20 years of experience in industry, and she is specialized in collaborating client-centered approach with an aesthetic vision. So I think she'd be a great fit for the LMUTC, taking her interior design experience to the exterior, and she comes recommended from other members. And so it's definitely a great honor to nominate her, and also to thank Ms. Brave for her years of service on the LMUTC, making sure our design in our downtown core is appropriate.
So thank you so much, Joseph. So the way that also works is like, once we appoint them by the city, we send a letter of recommendation to the county to say this is a recommendation, then the county appoint them and they become part of like the county authority. So they're very much the people that take care of our historical buildings and make sure the facade is wooden on it. But they have also done a lot of heavy work when it comes to the mixed use laws and zoning regulations for the city and the county. I think 95% of the recommendations that groups send, they told us to like send over, and we did. Were adopted by the county. So Rainier has had a big input for many years, and it's been because of the heavy expertise of people. So we're pretty sure this is going to be the case. All right. So with no further ado, can I have a motion on the floor to appoint Ms. Elise Moore to the Legacy Mixed Use Town Center?
I move to approve Elise Moore to the Legacy Mixed Use Town Center.
Okay, there's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, there's probably moved and second. Any discussion? Objections, abstentions, hearing none. It is official. Ms. Elise Moore has been appointed to the Legacy Mixed Use Town Center. So I'm going to ask you if you could please come up, Elise, so that way people see who you are and if you want to say a few words, and then we'll welcome you to do the beautiful shake of hands as we pass through this. And we're very thankful because it's a lot of like wonderful work. And if you could press that button in the top so that way shows green. And oh, they changed it. Oh, wow. We're moving up in the world. Yeah, that one. Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hi, I have lived in Mount Rainier for about 4 years, since 2022. And I've been trying to figure out a way that I can use my experience in a volunteer capacity to help improve, things for the city. And this position came up on this committee, and I thought, this would be a good place for me because I've done a lot of work with mixed use projects. And over the past 20 years, I've had my own company, and I've done a lot of design and project management for multifamily properties. And I've also, the last place I lived for 7 years, which was a co-op in Southwest where we had towers and townhouses. I was on the committee for 6 years we were overseeing a multi-million-dollar renovation there. So I'm very familiar with interacting with architects, engineers, and project managers, that kind of thing, for renovations. So anyway, I look forward to being on this committee. I noticed on the committee that there is no meeting agenda yet. I kind of looked up that. But I did look over the plans from the county, and I see that they haven't been updated in a fairly long time. So I don't know how active this committee is in doing something like that, but I'd like to see it become active. We're sort of being sandwiched now between Hyattsville and DC in terms of development. So it's coming at us from both north and south on Route 1. And so I think it's coming. And so hopefully we'll be well positioned to make sure that when it does come, we can navigate and guide any kind of development so that it benefits the residents. And also, I'd like to see it increase our tax base so that the residents don't bear the primary burden of the tax base in the city. So anyway.
Thank you so much. And the agendas and everything, once they like appoint you at the county level, they'll be in charge of all of that.
Okay.
Our job is to basically say like, we support this person, is qualified, and then we send you off to take care of us.
Well, thank you. Thank you for appointing me, and thank you, Joseph, for nominating me. So appreciate it.
We usually shake your hand to thank you because we're very thankful. We know we don't take for granted volunteers, and especially people giving us like their free service on it. So imaginarily, like Joseph also shook your hand as well, okay? But yeah, so you missed it, Joseph. She did shook your hand out there, okay? In the cyber world.
Congratulations on virtually shaking your hand.
All right. Thank you so much. And again, Ms. Elizabeth, thank you so much as well for the time you put to the committee. The committee had been dormant just a little bit. So Joseph, thank you so much for engaging the committee again and finding outstanding members to like join us. So we're happy because we take care of our historical aspect in the city very seriously. There's no jokes about that one. So they do outstanding jobs. So thank you for that. Okay. All right. So moving on to the next. I know I have a paper agenda. Moving on to the next item. Item number 5. First reading and adoption of emergency ordinance 09-2026. The mayor and council will have the first reading and adoption emergency ordinance 09-2026 budget amendment number 2. This was discussed heavily 2 weeks ago in our meeting, but we do have Ron Wilson, who is our financial consultant, and Mr. Kamali, our city manager. So I'm going to cede the floor to Ron to walk us through if there's anything we need to when it comes to a resolution. Usually he talks to the numbers and what it is. And it is common for us to do a last one. This is our last voting meeting to make sure we gather all the grants and information. He'll explain it to you as well in detail. What is it that we're doing? So Ron, the mic is yours.
All right, thank you. Most of this budget amendment is to add grants into this year's budget that were not part of the budget process last spring. There is one item that is not grant related, and that's the use of fund balance for Potts Hall. This is money that was budgeted for in fiscal 25, but unused. So we're just rebudgeting it now for fiscal 26. So we are adding $955,240 to the use of fund balance as a revenue item. And then on the expense side, we are adding the same $955,240 to the expense, capital expense for Potts Hall. Okay. Everything else in here is grant related. I'll run through it really quickly. If anybody has any questions, obviously you can ask. So the first item is rebudgeting the streetscape Perry Street Green Streets grant for $499,000. These are the revenue items. We always balance grant revenue with grant expense. The next one is the MEA solar panels grant for $422,000. The next one is the DHCD mural for $10,000. The one after that is the Maryland Department of Transportation levee trail crossing for $75,000. The next two items, all we're doing is changing the grant number, .48 to .54. We're moving the $40,000 for the PACT grant. And then the last two on this page, .49 and .58. Again, what we're doing is changing the grant number in the budget for $14,000. Then the corresponding expenses for these grants, streetscape, Perry Street, Green Streets for $499,000, the MEA solar panels for $422,000, the DHCD mural for $10,000, the MDOT levee trail crossing for $75,000, and then switching the dot 48 and dot 54 grant numbers for the PACT grant, and then switching the dot 49 and dot 58 for the National Night Out. All of these things are unchanged from what we discussed in the work session 2 weeks ago.
Okay. All right, so quickly, the two were asked was basically the City of Mount Rainier budget for fiscal year 2026 was adopted in ordinance 02-2025 in April 2025, whereas it has been deemed necessary to transfer funds between line items to meet current demands for goods and services, and not therefore be a resolve, right? So he gave you the explanation of what the changes are going to be, and it's on it. So we don't count our chickens and eggs before we hatch them. So that's the reason why, although we have applied to the grants and we wait them for till they receive, and then we go ahead and put them at the end once we get them to make sure we have it. And thank you for the team, because that's very responsible, because we don't want to assume there's money coming and it's not here. So thank you guys for that. All right. So Council, you have heard the resolution 08-2026. Oops, sorry. The resolution 09-2026. Budget amendment number 2. This is an emergency ordinance. I need to know if you guys have any questions from Ron Wilson, or are you ready to move for a vote? Jenny?
I have a question. It's just a comment. Could you just fix the typo, levee trail crossing? I just didn't notice it at the work session. It's repeated twice.
Can you give the line item?
Oh, it's this levee tail. Yes, okay.
Thanks.
Tail. Oh, yeah. So that 0.57, that's like the change. Okay, so thank you for that. Danielle?
No, I'm good.
Okay, Valerie?
I'm good.
Joseph?
I'm fine, thank you.
Okay, and I'm good. So there's been only a grammatical switch on 01-47 00.57. Can we have a motion to move it with that change, please? Anybody's motion?
I move to approve it with that change. Thank you.
Okay, any second?
Joseph seconds.
All right. You're moving faster than other people here. What's going on? Okay, so it's being properly moved and second. Any discussion? Okay, hearing none. This line item, what's it called? We're going to go for a vote, right? Hearing none. Right. Any objection? Abstentions? Hearing none. This vote, this emergency ordinance 09-2026 budget number 2 passes unanimously. Okay. So thank you guys so much for the work, and I don't think I have you here for anything else, Ron, so have a safe, long trip home.
All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. All right, perfect. Okay, all right. Moving on to item number 6, City Manager's report. The City Manager, Karush Kamali, will present his report to the Mayor and Council. He's going to give us a big overview.
Yes.
A very big overview, because he's not feeling well, and we need to make sure his voice lasts for the rest of the meeting. Go ahead, Mr. Kamali.
Thank you, but I got a lot of people over here tonight, so I have to do something for them. Otherwise, they're not going to come back.
You
So
sound just as bad as they did in Mount Rainier Day. I sounded
No,
like
it's all right.
Minnie Mouse
All
on
right.
helium.
thank
Go
you
on.
for, no, I just want to say hello and thank you for coming and joining us tonight. So I have a monthly report or bi-weekly report that usually I send it to the council every 2 weeks. So council have seen it. These are the projects that I'm working on as a city manager. So right now, as you see, that the main concern is for the FY26 audit, because we are in June, and June 30th is the last day of the fiscal year for FY25. And I had a meeting with the auditors and finance consultant, Ron. So we are getting everything in row and getting ready because we got 2 audits. One is a regular audit for the operating budget, and the other one is for the federal funding that we get. We got $9.7 million from SS4A and ARPA $5.4 million. So we have to make sure that we meet the deadlines, which for the operating budget is October 31st. And for the federal funding is sometimes in January that the auditor is going to let us know, because that's the first year we're going through 2 audits. That's for the audit. Then the next one, I got the stop sign. The stop sign is one of the SS4A project that right now I got the contractor working on installation. And as you see that, council, mayor and council, so we changed to the solar because we had so much tough time with the Pepco to get the permit. And so contractor came back with the option at no cost for the city to switch it to the solar. And as you see that, hopefully by end of June, we're gonna finish the installation. And then sometimes in August or September, we're gonna enforce it after giving the community 60 days warning notice or warning, period. That's for the stop sign. And then we go to the next. So SS4A, we have so many projects that I am planning to implement some of them this summer. And the first one right now, because during the winter time, we had to pause one of them, which was the sidewalk. And the sidewalk maintenance, we started on May 26th. And we are working on 35th Street, and we're going to stick to our proposed schedule as we posted on the city's website and social media. So that's for the sidewalk. Then the next one, we have the levee trail crossing. And so this one, we put the bid out after we got the final design. We have a consultant that is working with us, a consultant named Tool Design. Tool Design finished the final design. We put everything out, and we got proposal from, we received only one proposal from ENR. And right now I am working with the Tool Design to review the proposal and make sure that we got all the requirements in place. And then we will have the contractor to finish this project. I'm hoping by fall, that one is going to be done if the weather permits and if we're in a good shape. All right, next one, I got Bunker Hill traffic calming. This one, we received 3 bids. One of them was incomplete and the other one was too high, so we're sticking to the lower one. Again, I'm reviewing with the consultant and to make sure everything is okay with that one. This Bunker Hill project includes the 35th and Bunker Hill and 36th and Bunker Hill. So it's 2 locations at the same time. And then we got the last one, which is the 31st and Food Forest. This one, we added something to our proposal, RFP, and we had to push back the timing. So now the Friday, the 5th, we're supposed to receive the proposals, and Monday, the 8th, we're going to open the proposal and hopefully select the contractor and move forward. So we got 4 projects plus safe routes to school. Also, we're working on the design, which was on the slide before this one, and I forgot to let you guys know that. All right, the last project that we have is the Newton Street. Newton Street was for $879,000. That was the ARPA money. That was the last ARPA project, and I am glad to say that it's complete. And right now, we are working on the as-built plan and the final invoice with the contractor to close out the project. So ARPA has been completed. We captured $5.4 million, and that was a good project for the city of Mount Rainier. 31st and Perry, and I'm sure the other corner people are very interested to hear about that one. That one is the phase 2 of this project, and we are about to select our contractor, and hopefully we're going to start as soon as possible. And that is a Green Street project that we got $530,000 from the state. And then we have a project called a Strategic Action Plan that is by Prince George's County. They're, helping the city put a plan together. And I got in contact with them Monday. They received 2 proposals. They selected 1 consultant, and they're going to the planning board to get the funding for it on June 18. And they told me after 2 weeks, we will have the kickoff. The project will be kicked off after 2 weeks, June 18, after June 18, 2 weeks after June 18. Next, I got facade improvement. This is another grant that we get from DHCD. That was $100,000 on the facade improvement FY26. I put the bids out and I received only 1 proposal, which I am reviewing the proposal, and hopefully we're going to start this project this summer, which is the facade improvement to improve our businesses' exterior, and we can spend up to $50,000 on each business that is in need of the facade improvements. And also we had $10,000, please hold on, $10,000 for the mural, and the mural is complete, is located on 4000 of 34th Street, and I hope you guys like it. And we go to the next. This is our grant activities, and I don't think I have to explain every line by line, and we're good. And thank you for listening. And if you guys have any question, Mayor and Council, I'll be glad to respond.
Okay, Danielle, starting with you, Joseph, Valerie, and Jenny.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. So just to reiterate, the stop sign cameras, you're going to give a 60-day barrier for the residents to get used to these around the city.
Right.
And we expect to see them functioning between August and September.
Hopefully, yes.
But we are going to get 60 days
warning period.
Okay. Thank you.
Joseph?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. On the stop sign cameras, there's still a lot of confusion because I think we've been telling folks there are going to be 8 cameras, but we're seeing the number 16, and I was hoping you could clear that up. And I'm also wondering if with the solar power, are they going to stop working after a couple days if it's cloudy?
Go ahead, Mr. Kamali.
Well, we're going to have 16 locations that has been approved by the county, but we were able to, and 16 location is going to be utilized to install the camera, but we are able to only put 8 cameras at 8 locations, and then we're going to rotate between the 16 locations. So, and I guess, that's all we can do with the grant that we got from SS4A. And regarding the solar panels, definitely I will look into it with the contractor, but, somehow I think, because going to the Pepco, it's a long haul, and it's going to take another 6-7 months to get the permit. And I think going with the solar, it's going to be more sustainable to me. And I don't know, but hopefully that we should not have any problem with the solar. And we can talk.
Well, I suppose if they stop working on a regular basis, we can reevaluate it.
Yeah.
I'm sure people won't be too angry.
Oh, people need to have a break too sometimes.
Yeah, and it does meet our green initiatives when it comes to solar panels and cameras. Yeah. We'll see you next time. Jenny?
The 31st Street project.
I'm sorry.
The 31st Street project, when is that slated to start?
That one, we are finalizing the proposal from one contractor, 31st and Perry. That is.
Is it the same contractor?
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. The 31st Street project for the food forest.
Oh, food forest. That one, we're going to receive the proposal by Friday the 5th. And then we're going to open it publicly on June the 8th, Monday. and then we have to review it. So I am looking sometimes, hopefully, before end of June or July, sometimes in July, we're going to start the project. And I'm trying to use the weather and good weather and finish it as soon as possible.
And the strategic plan, I understood that it's starting 2 weeks after my
After
birthday.
June 18th.
My birthday.
Happy
Thank you for
birthday.
that. Thanks. Do you know how long the strategic plan process is going to take? Has PAMC
No, I was
said that?
talking to them over the phone Monday, and Mr. Connor told me that he's gonna have a meeting, schedule a meeting with me after the funding on 18. Then I will keep you guys posted.
Thanks.
Valerie?
Thank you, and thank you for all your work on infrastructure projects. I think it's really critical to the city, so thank you for that. I had three things, and I think Jenny alluded to one of mine, which was the project schedule for the strategic plan. Last September, we had proposed an all-city committee meeting, and then we postponed it because of the snow
Right.
nightmare. So I would like to make sure that the project managers at PAMC know that we have that as a possible option to do that in the first part of September, as they start their planning, so that they can hear from all the city committees, and so that we can do what we originally planned, which was to bring people together who are serving in the city, so they know each other and we can start building that civic leadership a little more. So that's one thing. And then the second thing, or two more things, the department head reports to council. Last fall, we had started getting reports from department heads, but that sort of stopped. So I wonder if that could be something that we start up again in the fall, so that we can hear directly from the directors. And then the third thing, I know we've been working on the community garden to bring a water line, a permanent water line. So I would love to see that in here. I know it's being handled by the Department of Public Works, but it is something that we are going to have to work together on a little more. So just.
Can I respond to those?
Okay.
Well, the first one, definitely, I'm going to coordinate with the council to make sure that, and you're welcome to join that meeting with the PAMC, and we can have a meeting with them. The second one that you talked about, I'm sorry, the department heads report. I get the report. We got to the budget. It was a, tough season for us, and every department head, including chief, had to work on their budget. And so once the mayor and council come back after the recess, definitely we're going to schedule department heads to come by in the work session and give the report. And there was another one that you asked me. I'm
I
sorry.
think she's referring to the quarterly reports that they send to
Yes.
you
Yeah, I
in order
know.
for them to start being sent to us as well, like
Yeah,
they used to
I
be.
can share it with you guys.
So
too.
even if you could send us the last few ones, that we would like
Definitely.
to see them. Yeah.
Definitely, when I get the next one, which is due at the end of this month, June, the fourth quarter report, I will share it with the council. There was another one. I
It
think.
was just the community
I'm sorry.
garden. We're
Yes,
working
community
to-
garden.
so that's-
The reason that I'm not putting here, because you know that you and I talked yesterday, and it's not clear, yes, how I'm gonna, fund it. So definitely, once it's determined, I will put it there and give the update to the community. I just wanted internally fix it and then bring it up.
Thank you.
Sure.
So I'll tell you my requests and questions, right? I know we talked about 60 days potentially starting in June, or what's it called, August or September for the cameras. If you could bring in the September meeting, when we come back, a report of like how many even fake citations have happened or how many citations happened. I would like for us to get it, but also like the community to hear how's it going, right? Especially as it potentially is going to start getting activated or is beginning to activate it, so that way they get a sense of like in the summer months, what it looks like. And the summer months is a little bit of an outlier because a lot of people here travel.
Exactly.
Or kids are not going to school. So streets like, Bunker Hill, they're in their best behavior because not a lot of people are like transiting as much as it is. And most people are like cutting through, right? But if we could get that for the September meeting, definitely it will help. So we could at least evaluate it.
September meeting, you know that according to we're going to finish in June.
Yeah.
Then we're going to have a 60 days warning period, which is going to be August and September. So are you talking about the enforcement period or
No.
only
During the
during?
warning period.
Okay,
So
okay.
that way the community knows before the infractions started rolling. So that way they know there's so many, violations so many warnings that have been given.
I'm
So that
looking
way-
at Chief because that's the work that
See you in
Chief
September,
provided
Chief.
to us.
So, what I'm
It's all gonna
asking, yeah.
depend on when we actually go live.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And so we can give you an update as we go along. We gotta get it installed first, and I
Yeah.
don't wanna make a promise that September is the date. If
Yeah.
not, it may.
I will ask for us to aim at September, and if they haven't been placed, then we can move it to another one, but I want to make sure it's somewhere in the agenda, so that way we don't lose track of it.
Definitely.
But at least to give people a notice of like, hey, this is the warnings that have been given,
Yes.
and it's gonna be activated. So an extra layer of communication with the community.
got it.
For the congressional earmark, I did that we obtain signed letters of support from at least our county council member. Is there any letters that we requested? Because I'm pretty sure we, as, Jolene Ivy, Delegate Fennell, and Delegate Ivy, they might be also happy to submit on it.
Which one? The
The
grant?
congressional earmark?
Well, I have a good news for you guys, but I don't want to announce it now. I am getting to
Stuck announcing
something,
good
so hopefully we're getting somewhere. No, thank you so much. Right now, we're good. And we're going to have something.
Okay, yeah, because they've always made themselves very available to help us.
Our position right now, our application is in a good place.
Okay, good.
So,
All right, perfect. Other than that, it's like they already cover all the questions that potentially had, and if I have anything, I'll go ahead and email you.
please.
Okay, so once the project is done, the last ones, we need to schedule like ribbon cuttings and stuff like that. So work on that, because I think it's a good thing for people to know that we work on the project and we completed the project, because we have made a lot of promises and we're good at keeping them, but I think we're not as good at letting people know, the rest of the city know, like, it's been done. Okay,
Definitely,
Right.
we'll take care of that.
perfect. Thank you so much, Mr. Kamali, to you and your whole entire team, okay?
All right, thank you.
All right, moving on, I'm like going through it. Moving on to item number 7, public comment. Hold on, let me read the spiel for this. All right, rules for speakers. The mayor and city council invite and welcome comments at a public meeting. The mayor or presiding officers will recognize you. Please introduce yourself at the podium, spelling your last name for recording purposes, and give the name of your street and block number, example 4300 block of 34th Street. Public comments has a time limit of 3 minutes per speaker, unless otherwise decided by the mayor. While speaking, please maintain a courteous tone and avoid personal attacks. If you wish to lodge a complaint against the performance or conduct of any city employee, please bring your concerns to the attention of our city manager, who will look into the matter and respond to you. As a courtesy to other residents and businesses, the council requests that speakers not use specific addresses or names of individuals when describing a situation or making a complaint, noting the block is preferred over in a specific address. Okay? So, here. What do you, Melissa's like, Millie, do you want me to grab it or do you got it? Or Derek, oh, thank you, Derek. It's like my dress got all wrinkled from sitting and standing up.
Closer than she is.
Thank you. Whew. All right, so I'm gonna read the list of speakers. Thank you guys for coming as well. I have Sonia De La Torre from 29th Street, 29th Street, 4100 block, and the city of 29th Street, in the city of Rainier. Sonia, you wish to speak? Yeah.
I'm okay.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. I love you guys, and my teaching years are gonna come to carry this, right? Mary Ed? Oh, pretty good, huh? I'm working through it. Lateness? Largest. Oh, it's a G, okay. Largest, 1300 block of Shepherd Street?
Yeah, do you want me to come to the microphone?
Yeah, you have to come to the mic in order for the people to hear you. And yeah, make sure, I don't know if you could see if the little green light is on, if it's on, yeah, go ahead.
Hi, I'm Marriott Largest. Last name is Largess on 3200 Shepherd Street. Here's hoping I remember what I want to say. last year they did the sidewalk replacement in our area. There is still a very big hole between the sidewalk and the road. Admittedly, the weather happened, so there's no blame there. But we are wondering when it will be fixed. And I also had as far as the cameras are concerned, I realize that you're planning to rotate them. However, I do live near where Mount Rainier Elementary School is placed, and pretty much can guarantee all year round, people cut through and they do not stop. They don't. If they do stop, myself included, it is a rolling stop at best. So is there a plan to at any point make the cameras permanent at the schools?
Mr. Kamali, and somebody did email us about the first question, so he might have like.
The first question I do appreciate regarding your sidewalk. If you could email me your address and the issue, I will take care of it.
So, Mr. Kamali, another resident did inquire, and Rocio went over and checked it out, and they were working to figure out what the solution was going to be. So
Yeah, I saw that one too. I want to make sure.
because I know your address, I know.
Yeah,
It's my neighbor.
Yeah.
No, anytime, please, if you have any issue regarding sidewalk, anything, just email me and at citymanager@mountrainiermd.org, and I'll be glad to have the team to look into it.
great, thank you. I wasn't certain how else to get it out.
And then regarding the school, again, we're not saying that, every month I'm going to rotate it. Based on the data that we get and the chief of police, and, we'll look at it and see where we need to have the camera. That camera could stay there. And mostly this grant, because the entire city is less than 1 square mile. So we are in the school zone, the entire city. But I want to make sure that I know where you're talking about exactly. So let's find out, it's going to take some time for us, but I'm not removing it next month, but I'm sorry.
It's
her block.
Yeah, it's literally,
I know where
minutes
she
to the
lives,
school,
yeah.
so, yeah,
So if it's a big camera that's getting a lot of people speeding through it, the camera's going to stay there.
okay.
So that's
It
basically
depends on
gonna
the
depend.
data that we get.
Okay, sounds good, thank
If
you.
a lot of people are speeding in your block, you're going to be having the camera there for days. Maybe not. Maybe not. I know. We're going to be like, how many side blocks and sidewalks do you want after this? Elise Moore? Okay.
I spoke already, so.
Okay, perfect. Emily Bird? 4500 block of 35th Street. I apologize. Go ahead.
Hi, everyone. My name is Emily Bird, B-I-R-D.
Can you press that button that is,
For Mike to be on.
it's on?
Got it.
It's green, it should be on.
Okay.
Oh, you shut it off on your way out.
Had a lot of trouble with the door button too. I am just not good at buttons.
Yeah, you're good.
My name is Emily Bird, B-I-R-D, like a bird. And I'm a resident living on the 4500 block of 31st Street. I've been a resident of Mount Rainier since 2018. I try to be an active community member, and I felt compelled to come here today to express some disappointment in the conduct of council. I noticed the agenda item tonight censuring the mayor, and I thank you for removing it. But I feel like some of my comments are still very relevant, so I'm going to read some of them. I'm still angry that this censure was what everyone has chosen to care about today when there are so many other needs and opportunities here in our city. I would also like to offer some words of support for our mayor tonight. While I do not like the way she has reacted in some council meetings this year, overall, I respect her and the work that she does for our community. We have new parks. We have new spaces for gatherings and play. We have safer roads. I am getting new sidewalks next week. There are new stop signs and crosswalks. Our main street looks more vibrant, and new businesses have come to our city. What's more, I see our mayor everywhere. She is at every community event.
I see her on the weekends at the market and out with her daughter. And everywhere I see her, she is talking to people. She is a part of the heart and rhythm of Mount Rainier. And that is probably why she was reelected by more than 70% of our vote. For the last year, I feel that there's been very little substance from council. I know that you all are on your best behavior tonight, but there has been a lot of arguing, bickering, yelling, eye-rolling, and engaging in negative exchanges in almost every meeting and at public community events. Our city is likely to lose out on opportunities and progress as a result of this behavior. I think it needs to stop. I ask you for the sake of the city to stop obstructing progress and goodwill throughout our government. It's not what we hired you to do. I hope everyone can take a hard look at why you are sitting up there. You can wallow in dysfunction for the rest of your terms. You can call it quits, or you can grow up and put on your big kid pants and roll up your sleeves and go to work for our city. Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't think I need a response.
Thank you for your comment. Kelsey, I'm gonna butcher your name, last name, Rylands?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, 300 block of 32nd Street.
Thank you for doing that part for me because I just put my address in. Okay, I think I'm green. I'm also going to set myself a timer to be respectful of the 3-minute rule, although I suspect I'll be shorter than that. I also came this evening to address the censure that was on the agenda and still would like to make my comments, which are to say that I love this town. I feel so lucky every day that the DC housing market pushed us into Mount Rainier, and we still have a 3% mortgage, so we'll never be leaving. And my kids are growing up in a neighborhood that feels like the 90s, and I am, my friends joke, the evangelizer of Mount Rainier, bringing my friends here from New York or DC. I'm working on ones from Washington State. And what has been happening in our council is not the best of who we are. I have experienced better interactions with many of you in supporting our community, and this is not it. This community I know is kind. We work together to shovel each other's sidewalks, to stand up for our immigrant neighbors, to protect each other, to fill the streets when a neighbor's kid is missing. That doesn't happen in places. And this city needs more engagement. It needs more volunteers. And someday you all won't be sitting here. And to be honest, when people say to me, you should run for city council, I'm like, absolutely not. First of all, this is a thankless job that you all do. And the criticism from our neighbors can be enough to criticize each other based on things that could be a conversation or assuming best intent is who we should be. And Mayor, I want to thank you for going to Annapolis and speaking on behalf of our communities, for saying that ICE agents shouldn't wear masks and terrorize our neighbors. I know we've been in this work together, finding food for neighbors who don't have food, getting lights turned back on for single moms who had their other sense of income deported. That is above and beyond what anybody should have to be doing in this moment. And I don't actually care what our city council ever voted on, whether it was to explicitly say ICE agents shouldn't wear masks. I think it's unequivocal that our neighborhood stands for that. And I just thank you for doing that and making statements on behalf of our city. And I stand with you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I have, Thomas. It's VEDROD. I'm going to have you guys like,
Thomas Vedrodi. That's okay. live on the 4200 block of 31st Street. I've been coming to the meetings for a little while now, and I think you guys are largely doing a good job. I was very disappointed to see that we were snubbed last meeting by the developer at Eastern and Rhode Island. And my first question is if they said anything about that. And a just statement, that property has been a pit for, I think, at least 10 years. And there was a dilapidated structure there for, I think, about 10 years before that. I think 2008 is what my wife told me, which is well before my time. And I think it's time for the city to get creative and aggressive about making something happen with that property. From what I understand, it's held by developers who live out of the country. And I think that is very poor. And I'd like to hear if they have said anything about last week.
Yeah, so I'm going to let Mr. Kamali answer, but they did send information out.
Well, what happened, they told me, which I don't believe that, first of all, because anybody that is invited to our meeting, we send the agenda, we give them all the information. So our city clerk sent the information to them Friday before that Tuesday 19. And I did, call them myself, and they said they confirmed that they're going to be here. But after the meeting, I reached out to them again. They said, oh, we thought that it was a virtual meeting. I said, no, that was in person. And as we mentioned in our agenda and the email that was sent by city clerk. So they send us an update, and same thing, they're telling us they're after the permit. And they are working with the DPI, and due to some floodplain, now the floodplain permit is being resolved according to their information, but they're working on other permits that they have to get from SHA, WSSC, and the civil engineering review by the DPI. So, and I, again, invited them for next week, next Tuesday, June 9th, and they have not confirmed it yet. So hopefully I'm trying to get them over here. At the same time, what we can do, we can just, enforce our vacant tax property. This year he's going to pay more. And that's the only way that we can hold him accountable. He's the owner of the property, unfortunately, right now. And that's all I can say.
Danielle, do you have something else to add?
Yes, I wanted to, when you talked about we need to get aggressive. We sat here during the budget season and we increased the taxes on vacant lots and properties intentionally to penalize property owners such as them. So their property taxes, or the penalty tax for being a vacant, not developing it, did go up from $2.50 per $100 of evaluation to $4.50. So we had $4.50.
No, $4.
$4. We went up on it. So we did crank down on them. So we did, what we could, and we know that the city manager will take care of the rest, but we're very, very aware of it.
Thank you for the update.
Yeah, and I'll tell you that we're now having meetings with the county. I also let them know that to keep an eye on them as well. So they've been flagged, that they need to follow through. But they also, we have been very open with them to say, if you need help, you need to communicate with us. So that way we, if there's something in the county or it's not working or you guys cannot get it first, you need to reach out to us, and we could at least, we're not waiving anything, but we're saying hey, we could at least connect you via email. So that way they know we're following through. So that offers has also been made because, we strongly believe we're trying to help the businesses, right? It's not just a punishment, but, they go hand in hand. So if we offer the help and you don't take it or, it goes on the other end, but definitely that offer has been made more than once. We have been able to help them at least once, right? Mr. Kamali, at least once to be able to like get one of the permits that they needed to like move forward. He just coughing, Melissa. He didn't have his mic. Look, Melissa's looking at you like, why is your mic not open? Yeah. Okay. So thank you so much for that. And, you know, we're going to follow through to see if they come to the next meeting. But I think that will tell you that every single one of us is highly frustrated on that issue. And they became the owners of the property as COVID hit. And I think that's when we were a little bit like leaning for a while, because during COVID, everything was basically paralyzed everywhere. You know, everybody was like on survival mode, and that's the reality of it, right? But we're post-COVID, so we need to make sure something's on it. And the water table was something that they did not know about. Like we didn't either all the time we owned the property, but yeah, we're following through with it, but it's a lot. Thank you for bringing it up. All right, Derek Reynolds. That's because I know your last name, Daryl, because I'm going to have to like...
Thank you. So my name is Derek Reynolds, R-E-Y-N-O-L-D-S. I'm on the 4000 block of 32nd Street. First, I'd like to say that I'm extremely excited to see so many of my neighbors here tonight. It's very rare to see people attend city council meetings, so I'm very excited, and I do hope to see, I've been attending them ever since they've been in person, and I've been attending a lot virtually, which I know many people do, and I hope to see most of my neighbors again, because one of the other things I want to say is I am extremely disappointed in how the council has been functioning pretty much ever since I have lived in Mount Rainier. I've watched bickering, fighting, personal attacks, people pushing one another apart, when most people on the council are here for the same reason. You all care about Mount Rainier. You're not making money doing the job. And I feel like one thing I would really like to see is for you all to start next year, as we're closing out this year and starting next year, with all on the same page, accepting one another as equals and working together, because it is really not encouraging, and potentially one of the reasons why most of these people have not come in the past is not encouraging to watch people fight in a city council meeting. The other thing I'd like to encourage the city council to do is consider limiting the length of time of your meetings, mostly because I've noticed that as they get longer and longer, they begin to degenerate once they get past the 2.5 hour. And I'm sure you all are tired and you all can appreciate that. And also it becomes extremely difficult. I know many of my neighbors have children, many of my neighbors have jobs that start early in the morning, and it's difficult for people to come from 9 o'clock to 11 o'clock to watch the council meet. So I would like to encourage you to find a way to work well together, to work well outside of council together, because you're all here for the same reason. You care about the city and you all do great things for the city. Every one of you are here for the same reason. And I would really appreciate if you would stop doing that as soon as possible. And if you could find a way to encourage other people. I'm fairly certain many people here tonight, because they were encouraged by council to attend. It would be great if those people could be encouraged on a regular basis to attend. Because when you talk about budget, when you talk about legislation, when you talk about other things, it would be really great for people to hear what's happening in the city, to be able to respond to that. Because the city is very active on the listserv and on Facebook and in person. And I don't notice as much activity here where it really counts. And I don't want my town personally to become a microcosm of what's happening in our next door town in Washington, D.C., because we're not those people. So that's all. Thank you for the time, council.
Thank you so much, Derek. Oh, and look who we have. Former member Luke Chesick is in the building. How do you like the building, Luke Chesick?
It's beautiful.
We work really hard for this building. All right, perfect. Shanette Robinson, 3500 block of Perry Street.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Sharnette Robinson, 3500 Perry Street. First of all, I want to say thank you for doing the resolution on autism for Autism Month. It is very well received and appreciated, but I had hoped that it would have gone a little bit further. There are residents in Mount Rainier who have children that are on the spectrum, and I know that a couple of years ago, maybe 2 years ago, members from BUILD received training through the University of Northern Iowa, and we submitted write-ups that we did in conjunction with missing and exploited children and Maryland Park and Planning. We were successful at getting a fence around the 38th Street Park down the street. I don't know if you guys ever ride past that, what do you call it, down there by Richardson Park where that water is flowing? People were talking about it. Kids are swimming in there. You need to put, there needs to be some kind of fencing put up that actually encloses that, because I don't know if you've dealt with autistic kids, but the older they get, they look for water. And a lot of our kids, and I'm not talking about 8 and 9-year-old kids, 14, 15-year-old kids are drowning. It hasn't happened in Mount Rainier. We asked for fences to go up at 38th Street. We submitted our findings and the packages to Mr. Kamali as well as to the mayor and council, and we never received any word back. It was submitted. They were done. They were Cindy Alexander did one, Robert Wingate Robinson did one, and I did one. I was successful on working with Park and Planning and the people in Hyattsville. We were successful at getting the fencing around the 38th Street Park at the bottom of the hill. I can't think of the name of it right now. They put a partial fence up on 34th Street that kids can still run straight through. And 34th Street, sometimes that traffic can flow pretty quickly. And I don't know if you've been around autistic children, but they are not aware of traffic and dangers. So I'm asking that the city, if you want a copy of the package, they were big, thick packages with photos, recommendations from ADA and everybody. And we ask that these parks be secured. And I am again asking that the parks. I'm also asking that the police department, if there is something that can be done so that our officers will know when they're asked to respond to someone's home and there's an autistic child in there, a lot of times they're nonverbal, or if they're verbal, they're not fully, able to communicate. What is being put out to residents and to the city? I know my time may be up, but what can be put out to the city and to the residents, a patch or something? I know that there's something in PG County now, and I'm willing to work with you, Chief, to come up with some kind of solutions and ideas, but I want an officer to always know when he's responding to a home where there's an autistic child, what kind of training does that officer have to work with those kids? Thank you.
Thank you so much. And Charnette, I don't see you enough here, so I give you a few minutes, okay?
And
Yeah.
I couldn't find the link because I usually don't come to meetings.
Oh, so we have to have the link for you to come. Now we know. And so I will tell you thank you so much for coming regarding the autism awareness. It's step one. Most of the things that we have done in the city, the step one has been like the resolution, then we start working on it. I know that, so for the fence, the levy, it is a county thing, but let me reach out to a county and figure out what their plans are at in order to make it even safer, okay? And with the parks, every time we talk to them, we have make sure to let them know that we want to see more fencing. We tried to write a grant for fencing, and they didn't think it was as attractive, so we didn't get the money for it, right? But we have been trying, to figure out grants to get. The other issue we have is like the only park the city owns is Richardson Park. All the other parks are not ours, but we'll continue to advocate to make sure that part of like when they revamp the parks, that they bring the fence and they have a plan on moving forward for the older parks to have fence as well. So it's something that we have been continuing to advocate to go ahead and do in order to make sure that it's not. So I want to make sure you know that it is not off the table. All the mayors have a meeting with the county executive coming up. I'll make sure to bring it to them up again, because they're aware that we're concerned about the safety of our parks, and if they're going to redo them, they need to make sure they're friendly for everybody. I see you, but let me finish. Your mic is, go ahead.
Go ahead. Chief, I wanted to piggyback off of Charnette about being aware of homes where children have autism. I'd also like to include adults, because when you respond to an adult who may be autistic and they may be reacting differently, it would be beneficial for our local police to be aware of that as well. Yes.
Go ahead, Chief. You see, Chief, little did you know you were coming to speak today.
It's that whole Eric's, and I'm sure you're aware of Eric's ID law, so it's all in that whole spirit.
We were very.
Good evening, everybody. It's good to see so many faces. For
Welcome,
this,
Chief Perez from the city of Mount Rainier.
I'm sure everyone knew that. I want to say that you always have the option to opt in our dispatch center to say that this address has a child or an adult. This is not something we would force on people. This is something, if a family wants that, we will do that. It is like anything else. If there's a mental health problem there that maybe, or a deaf person or blind, whatever the issue is, if you feel that you want that on your family address, if at any time that dispatcher will see it, it'll pop up, and we will be able, and they will tell the officer responding that this is the situation at that home. I think some people would love to have that. Other people don't want to be identified in that way. But I do think it's a good idea. I think having that additional information when our officers respond is helpful. So if anyone would want to talk to me about that a little bit more, they can always give me a call. We can find some time to sit down and talk, or just give me an email and a phone call. But I think it is worthwhile. If that's something you want, we will definitely make it happen.
So thank you, Chief. And Mr. Kamali, can communications work with the chief so we could put information out to the community so they're aware that this is a program they could opt in? So that we're also raising awareness on it, because I don't think a lot of people are aware of that. And that definitely will help the police officers and our community. So at least to be able to bridge that gap. Okay? And thank you for that.
Thank you.
All right. So we do have former Councilmember Luke Chesek, 3100 block of Taylor Street here with us. And I want to make sure that we do have former Councilmember Entisar also here with us. Hello, Entisar as well. Go ahead, Luke, the mic is yours.
How much time do I have?
3 minutes. Press that button.
This one.
Yeah. You see what happens when you've been out of office for a year? You miss it up.
Thanks for resetting my time. I know there's been a lot of conversation in the public, on the listserv, Facebook, a lot of stuff going on. I just wanted to come up and say a few things. First off, I want to thank everyone who serves the community as elected officials. It's time consuming. It's not glamorous. Every single person I've ever met who's run for office feels compelled to run for a good reason. The hardest part of being on council is overcoming disagreements or differences to get stuff done. And it's not really the policy differences, which really aren't that much in a city where everyone's aligned so much on our values, or even the disagreements themselves. The trouble comes with how the human ego wants to perceive those differences and disagreements. In our minds, we are rarely the villain in our own play. Our attentions are virtuous. Our perception of reality is so very reasonable. When faced with disagreement, it's hard not to take it personal and make assumptions about others' intent, assuming there is something nefarious behind their action. This is especially true in an environment where your ideas can get attacked in listserv or Facebook posts by the very neighbors you enjoy representing. If you fail to step back, ask for understanding, pause before speaking or acting, the ego has this really annoying knack for sneaking in some biting comment or rumor mill peddling about those you disagree with. I should know because I've been guilty of it. Now, this is not to say that bad behavior should be tolerated. Rather, it speaks to the need to pause to think about the consequences of a word or action, or even whether every perceived wrong is worthy of action, and if so, what level is appropriate. It takes real intentional practice to ask these questions inside your head before taking action. Because at the end of the day, there is very limited time for elected officials to actually get stuff done. Setting a vision takes time. Determining the next steps needed to actually turn that vision into reality is very complicated, and it's very time consuming. Getting enough buy-in takes precious council minutes. If those minutes are replaced by infighting, then, well, that's what gets done. Infighting, which usually just leads to more infighting. Issues between people on council are not new. I am doubtful any reform will fix that. What matters is the small decisions people make over time to steer the council toward consensus. Do you need to fight here? Does responding to someone's swipe at me or my idea matter in the long run? Can I really fix people's inability to get along, or is energy best spent finding enough consensus to get stuff done? Time is limited. Choose wisely.
Wow, thank you so much. We hold 15 seconds left to speak. Thank you so much, Luke. All right, so anybody else? I want to make sure. Okay, so to the top of the list, Ms. Sonia De La Torre, 4100 block of 29th Street. Yeah, sorry. There you go.
Button. Screen.
Yeah.
Good afternoon. My name is Sonia De La Torre. I live, as the mayor has said, on 29th Street, block of 4100. I've only been here 1 year, but I have been visiting Mount Rainier for years because my daughter lives here. And I made a very difficult decision to pack up everything that I have back home in Puerto Rico because I love the community. It's not just on my street. It's not on 34th Street. It's everywhere we go. And I have to commend the mayor because, as someone previously had said, everywhere I turn, she's there. I mean, she's not just the mayor. She's a part of the community. She's one of us. I don't know what has been happening before because I haven't heard and I don't care to hear hearsay, but I think she's done a fabulous job, and it reflects, because if your community is happy, if your people are happy and enjoying and participating in the farmers market, in the parades, in going to school and putting on happy faces and fancy hairdos or whatever the kids do, and everybody's there, that has to mean something. Something is going right. Something is happening right. So I made a big decision to come here, leave everything. I bought a house, and this morning I was counting my blessings because I participated in the GAT walk in the mornings, on Tuesday mornings. And we go everywhere and we see all the beautiful houses. Some are a little not so beautiful, but the community is awesome. So I think something is being done right. So I commend the council people. I don't know you personally. I know the mayor, and I appreciate it. I really do appreciate everything, all the work that you guys have done, and I'm happy to have made the move. So thank you for my 5 minutes, 3 minutes.
Welcome to Mount Rainier. I know you've been visiting for many, and I run into you everywhere as well, so it's good. And for those that want to join the walk, it's every Tuesday morning at, Melissa, what time? 10:30?
10:30 in front of Joe's.
10:30 in front of Joe's. Everybody's welcome, no matter how fast or how slow you walk. Come and join and get to meet people. They're pretty cool people. I see them walking by when I'm sitting like doing work. So I love it. One day I'm going to join them, okay? But I'm watching you guys. All right. And they also have a potluck once a month.
Yes, the last Friday of every month.
The last Friday of every, Melissa.
It's at,
Come and join us, Melissa, because it's a wonderful community thing that is done, you know. Hi, Melissa. Thank you so much. Go ahead.
All right, it looks like it's green. My name is Melissa Barringer, last name Barringer, from the 4200 block of Rainier Avenue. So I'll tell you a little bit about Gateway Aging Together. It's a kind of new organization serving Mount Rainier, Brentwood, and North Brentwood. And right now we are just building community, and we do that through community walks, which we have every Tuesday at 10:30. We meet in front of Joe's Movement Emporium for about 30 or 40-minute walk. And it is true, you can be very slow or quick. Today we had 8 people, and so we kind of broke into 2 groups, and then we just kind of, it's like a caterpillar or something, or an inchworm, you know, you kind of catch up at the corner, right? And then we also have walks every Friday, leaving from Brentwood Community Center, and that's also starting at 10:30 in the morning. And once a month, we have a community potluck. They've been at the Nature Center, and our last one at the Nature Center will be the last Friday in June. They're always the last Friday, but then we'll be moving back to Brentwood. Location to be determined.
All right, thank you. So if you guys can please join, it's a good way to like meet people, but also stay in shape. You guys know we're working very hard to make sure we continue to be healthy. Want to make sure our residents are here for a long time. All right, so no public comments, right? All right, so thank you guys so much. The section of public comments has come to an end. I'll go ahead and move to item number 8, new business, presentation, discussion, and vote on city priorities, MML large, and how to legislative process works for municipalities. And I'll walk us through the process. So, which is the first document you have. So the LARCs, as in short, what is called the Legislative Action Request. We are members of the Maryland Municipal League. Every year, they request for any municipality to submit something that they think that could be addressed in behalf of the league to go advocate when it comes to Annapolis, right? So they're looking for things that are not how to fix my sidewalk in my city, but like a bigger picture that you could say, and at least an example, right? For us, having Route 1, we couldn't put cameras or anything there because it is not our route, right? So we had to say like, hey, MML, can you guys work and collaborate? Because this is something important that very municipalities wanted, especially as they get cut off through highways, right? And it allowed for not just Mount Rainier to have, have it here available, but across Route 1, right? But that's an example where HURs, if you don't know what those are, is highway user revenue. So every time you put gas, that's more percentage of the tax is supposed to come back to the municipality. Unfortunately, many years ago, the budget became trouble and they chopped it all out and everybody had to struggle to try to meet their budgets. And the league heavily worked in getting some of it back. So we have it and we fight every year to make sure they don't not reduce it or any sunset is placed, because if not, the city manager has to come to us and say, hey, we have to rethink the budget because the money that we think was gonna come, it's not there. So we've been fighting for that one. So the first document is basically step-by-step how it works, right? This year, MML said like, hey, in order to work on the process, want to see if you guys interested into a meeting, have everybody vote and submit it. So my idea was that even if we do not submit any for this year, at least we go through the process. So that way for next year, when we're thinking about submitting, we've had a whole entire year to think about what the legislative process is, what do we want to tackle, if anything, but also it gives you an understanding of like what other cities are facing and what are they proposing to figure out, like is something that we know is also an issue for us and figure out. So even if MML says, the Municipal League Legislative Committee and team, right, leadership team says, you know what, this is the one priority we're going to focus on. It gives you a sense of what other cities are struggling and you could pair up with them to figure out how to best solve some issues, right? So it gives you the steps 1, 2, and 3, 4 and 5, but that's the idea of it. So I want to make sure at least in the package on so that we continue working and figure out what they are. So the next page is basically what the form looks like, right? And if you notice, it tells you to describe the problem, what legislation is to be requested, and will this address only your municipality, so that way you're conscious of what you're turning in. And usually if it's just your municipality, they want to know, like, if several municipalities are putting it in saying like, hey, this is affecting various municipalities all over the state, it's a possibility. Mr. Kamal, you okay? You scare me. How do you call it? To do it, whether it is a municipality in our county. So if it's a Prince George's County issue, so we could also get organized and go to a Prince George's County delegation and say, hey, we're affected for this program. Can you make sure you put this legislation through Annapolis? Is it the whole entire state? And is it a county municipality? If it's a combination of both and it's elected, then you have the county association will sometimes work together with the league to try to push forward like they did the tax break, right? And then it's like they ask you for a bunch of background information with the sense that when you submit it, you are aware that this is what you're doing, right? So on the next page, I did attach to the package, so if you don't have it with you in front, you also will have it online. The large for 24, 25, and 26, so you take a look at what did the other cities felt like they needed to advocate, right? So as you can tell, you have Area City, I'm not going to mention any names, Greenbelt, who submitted 3 different large, there you go, for 26, the same thing, and for 27. So these 3 pages of information is more for you to be aware of what it is. So you start thinking about if there's something along those lines that was not covered, do we want to bring it up? Or B, if it was a municipal issue, is there something we could connect? Like example, like the bike lane, stopping, standing, parking prohibition for College Park. Even if that wasn't if it's an issue for us, because hey, College Park, I see that you guys are having the same problem that we are having. How are you working it through? And what could potentially we do together since we're so close, or be able to get information on how they're able to solve the problem. So do you see through all of them? And then you see how they call it municipal corporation, the local government's revenue. That's the one that that finally was selected on it, okay? And they go on. So if we decide to do one this year, they'll put a little strike that says, we submitted them late and they'll take them for consideration. Okay, the next document, the next slide is more of how the legislative year works, so we get a sense of what the timeline is. So that way we know how much time we have until the next session, how much time we have to have any additional input in case we want to lobby our representatives to say, well, not us, but the lobbyists, to say like, hey, this is what Rainier's aiming at, and this is what we like to do. So this is when, council, the city manager could be like, you guys might want to have this, but the problem is the legislation says that we cannot have stop sign cameras and stop signs. So that's when we go like, hey, this is an issue we're having, and although we might have good intentions of doing it, prior to the legislation a year ago, not this year, but last year, it was not allowed to do it, and it was lobby, and it got passed. So that's the reason why now we have them. So prior to people requested them, there was a barrier that we could not do them, and that was part of it, okay? So if you take a look at it for May and June, right, that's when we had to focus on, that's for our vision to go for the mayor and council. Right, we usually ask for people to bring 3 priorities each year, and I put out the large request there so that we have a timeline. Like again, if we don't do it this year, so that way for next year, we're aware of what we need to bring, and what legislations we have when it comes to legislation, city, large, all of it. From July to January is the work pre-season. That's when Greenbelt lobbyists, staff, and elected work on the legislative priorities. We're going to be working on scheduling legislative dinner with a delegation. And during the time, council does go to recess from July and August, but the work still continues, right? But it gives at least the staff like work to do it. What I've added to the calendar need that I would like for us to explore if we all could agree, right? For September, October, for us to have a legislative dinner with our delegation in order for them to hear directly from us on what is it that we would like our legislative priorities to be, right? And have a conversation so that way we understand, like, are they having bills being put forward? Do they know of any bills, or would they be interested in putting any bills? But also like address concerns if we need funding as something specifically, here's where you could support us, right? So that'll be September, October. A lot of municipalities do it. We haven't done it, but I think it'll be a good way to have council also sit down with our delegation, although they're very accessible, and have that discussion. January to April, that's when the legislation season happened. It is 90 days, nonstop. There is about close to 3,000 bills that are put forward between the House and the Senate, and it moves ridiculously fast. Sometimes we get notice like, hey, on Monday, you need to submit something by Tuesday because you need to speak on Wednesday. And you need to be prepared in case that's what you want to do, right? All right, and in the meantime, between January and April, our lobbyists, Greenbelt submits trackers, which is an Excel sheet with the different bills and information and what they are, to the council every week, along with newsletters information, so that we could follow along and figure out what is it that we are tackling, and what is it that we're viewing, and what they're seeing, and then that could potentially impact us as a municipality. All right. And that's when the testimony period happens. All right. And the reality is like 3,000 bills. And I'll tell you this, as much as we love to have input from our Rainier, there's no way we could get to 3,000 bills. We will have nothing but that, but that's where the lobbyists work in behalf of us, and making sure they're watching what else could potentially positively impact or affect us in a negative way. All right, so every week by clockwork, we get an Excel sheet that has all the numbers of the bills with the information and any predominant information that we need to be aware of. All right, April, May, the lobbyists come to give us an end of the season report. That's when they say we managed to get X amount of money of funding. These are the bills that we managed to work and report back. And they already did this. And also they give us like a document that says like, here's the feedback on all the bills that, we monitor and beyond. And we start all over again every year. So I want to make sure that we understand what the process is. And if we have it in front of us, it's easier more to visualize it. So we know that there's a reason why we pick priorities right now is because during the summer, everybody is working. And sometimes when you get to February, March, to September, October, November, it's already like secondhand, but people have already like make requests and worked on the different things. So we cannot wait for January to say, hey, we're thinking about this. You could, and definitely not in the middle session. So that gives us on it. So council, I'm gonna, we have this, but we also fit in some of the stuff if we need any additional information. And the next page, tracking bills and legislation yearly. So the council decides on 3 priorities, and we're going to work on deciding on what legislative items we want to tackle as well. In the meantime, our lobbyist scans the bills and works on, making sure that information is provided. So any bill that impacts the municipality, in this case, Mount Rainier, right, is being tracked to the legislation. A bill could be for the well-being for residents, like social justice, right? Immigration bills. This last session were heavily on immigration bills, right? Anything that has to do with economic development, right? For many years in the past, like last year, Potts Hall was number 1 priority because we needed to fund it. So that was one of our biggest economic development projects. So they will scan to see are any bills that are who potentially could give us funding. Is there any stolen bills when it comes to historical buildings that could harm the progress that we're making when it comes to annexation? Most of you guys know there's only one little side that we could annex for Mount Rainier, right? So if there's a bill that says, hey, for annexation, right, you need to have 1,000 more things, you go, wait a minute, we might not be ready to annex because there's no like on the other side for us to annex. But you could say like, hey, this is that you're putting in front of us is something that could hurt us as municipalities, right? But if you see a couple of things that Mount Rainier is very big, but also like municipalities overall. You have education, we have been very outspoken with like the blueprint and very big support for many years. Green initiatives, we have our green vision and mission that the city tries to follow and tries to get us to as many to make sure we are green. And that's why we have all the certifications supported. Transportation, streets, highways, all of that. Funding directly and indirectly, we have been very big advocates to say like, we would like funding directly sent to municipalities, just like the COVID relief fund was. And we have demonstrated that we could handle the money. $9.7 million came from our work we're working through getting. When it came for a federal grant, as an example, but also when it comes to state, if any direct funding comes to the city, we feel like we have more than demonstrated that we could handle. Mr. Kamali did talk about the 2 audits that he has to do. In addition audits, so we said, not only are we, going after this like grant money, but we're more than qualified to put it to use, get the reimbursements, which we have, and submit audits and reports so that money should be coming. Indirect funding might be like, are they funding, let's say, like some money, in this case, like through Gateway, right? Gateway was able to get a grant. We supported Gateway in their operations, and it was a grant to help Joe's Movement Emporium, right? With the whole water infrastructure and stuff. That's indirectly. Safety, anything to do with PD, but also under that category, it could cross over when it comes to the safety of our, of our residents as well, right? And preempting mandates with or without funding. That mainly is the information that says like that we're demanding the city to do X. And a lot of times it happens and they say like, you guys are basically taking care of the bill. And we're like, wait a minute. If you guys are asking for the city moving forward to do this, you need to be able to give us the funding to make sure the city could do it. So we're very cautious on anything that takes authority from the city or mandates for us to do something without additional fundings. And lastly, I did put it on the back that bills could fit into one category. Like I give you an example, Ruby Bridges Walk to School Day fits under education, fits under social justice, fits under safety, because it's a combination of all three of them in one. And the city has been very heavy advocate, led by Rainier Elementary, Thomas Stone. But our police department also works with the kids to do the walk to school day, so make sure the streets are safe. We advertise it, and we make sure that we also show up to read the books in the educational level. So I will tell you that at least that's more or less so we understand what the uniform looks like when it comes to build, and more or less what's being scanned by our lobbyists to figure out hey, these bills are coming. This is an issue. Here it is. And there's many boxes. This is just a sample of what some of them are to at least for us to visualize what they look like, right? The next page is the city council priorities. On the last meeting, we discussed some of the priorities that we have. And mind you, most of us have endless amount of projects that we do. But Council Member Luke Chesek actually 9 years ago led the collective to say, we might have 1,000 projects, but we need to come together to figure out if by any chances, there are at least 3 things that we could match that we would like to work and allows the city staff to go, at least in these 3 things they could agree on and they could work on as we do 1,000 projects. So we have felt that project alone has brought us a lot of unity because we're basically laser focused on those 3 for the next year, for 1 year. And then we eventually have to say hey, how did we manage? Is it something we need to move to next year? Is it something we need to continue working on or not? So I gave you the synopsis of big, little, and medium picture, right? Of what it looks like. I did ask council to make sure they brought their priorities over so that we could do an exercise on how to do it, whether we decide to turn the lights or not. At least we start thinking about what our options are in the long term. So when we come back in May of 2027, in April, we're going to put in the agenda to have this discussion once again to make it happen. And mind you, we usually do it in May because we're conscious that elections are in May, and we want to make sure that we allow the new people to have input in what the priorities are for the year, so that way they're active participants on it. And that's why we also take care of the budget before April, so that way the new people don't have to be entangled on it as much. All right, so if you were following last meeting, we did come out with a few priorities on it, and Councilmember Woodall did put this document together. Thank you for that. And if here you want to if you could go through them, but we basically, it's a simple process, and we could expand it beyond. That's fine. And I think we're going to work on expanding it. But I think that your computer went haywire. It says that would have worked. I know. So Valerie's been having computer issues, so that's part of what you see here. All right, but this is just for the fiscal year, July 1st to 2026 to June 30, 2027, and more or less after the priorities came through, and Joseph and Jenny, you're welcome to also add some of them in there as well. Here they are. So for me, it was strategic plan, transportation, the S for grant, economic development. Valerie was transportation, S for funding in future projects, strategic plan, economic development. Danielle is economic development on all 3. And it came out with a conclusion what it looks like. So just as a thought, even if it's 1, 2, and 3, that doesn't mean number 1 is the number 1 priority. It's not. It's more those 3 are the ones we're going to focus. Sometimes we're going to advance little on that priority. We might have to bring it back. Like the strategic plan, if you heard correctly, was heavily, how do you call it? We already found a person, they're on it. So that's the reason why we brought it in the next one to continue the project. Okay. And basically everything else that's going on in the world does not stop because those are our 3 priorities. We make sure that we're also observing and checking to figure out how anything else that will be noticed for residents and stuff like that. Those are just ongoing important priorities that carry the city no matter what, because at the end of the day, if during COVID time, right? COVID became the emergency. So we had 3 beautiful priorities. And at the end of the day, feeding and taking care of our residents and being safe became the overall priority of everything, as the other three we continue working alongside, but it was the well-being of our residents that is always number one in it. All right, so that's my presentation. And sorry, guys, it took us, originally I should have done it in 2 pockets, and I did it in 1. But I think it's important as we move forward. So I'm going to ask for 10 minutes on the clock on this item. Go ahead.
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
All right, so probably 1 second, any discussion? Objection, abstentions, hearing none. We're going to put.
Wait. Oh, sorry. Oh, wait, no, that's adding time. Sorry, my bad. No objections.
You just messed up my whole entire wording, Joseph. Okay, so abstentions, no abstentions. Joseph, we're good? Okay, objection,
I'm good with more
abstentions.
time.
Okay, hearing none, we are adding 10 minutes to the clock. And mind you, this is just informational. We don't have to do nothing today, but at least it guides us to where we need to be, in the next few months, in a year from now, so that we're all at least in the same guideline of a page. All right, so I'm staying there. I'm gonna go through the console. If you have ideally, if you have any questions regarding the LARTs, or if you wanna contribute to the LARTs, let me know. And if not, at least you know how they work, and if you wanna use them next year, cool. All right, and then we'll work on, and then I do have a question for you guys regarding the legislative year, if there's anything else you need to see there. Okay, all right, so Joseph, I'm gonna go with you first since you're over there.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. I appreciate you guys sharing these documents. I guess the slides weren't ready for the work session, so they're really helpful to have in front of me to understand the process. So I appreciate you guys sharing that and sharing the draft document. And now that I've had more than 3 minutes to think about it, I'll start with the priorities I wanted to say. A financial one is sewer line replacement for the Perry Street alley. I don't think there's quite a place for financial capital ones, but I want to make sure that's on the list.
So
as far as our priorities for our city legislation, they would be the Title 3, 7, 9, and 13 ordinance cleanup, the snow help for seniors, aka the Snow Angels program, and a strategy for 3503 Perry Street. And as far as something that I guess could be my 3 priorities would be municipal streetlight legislation, possibly. I do want the city staff to review the bill from last year to see if it makes sense for us. Also, the Ruby Bridges Walk to School Day. And then Montgomery County has a community choice aggregation program, which allows cities to find cheaper power for their residents to opt in over the general provider. And I would love to have access to that kind of program so we could have cleaner, renewable energy as default for our residents to save a little bit on their electricity bills. So those are my priorities. As far as the document, though, I think that this...
Hold on.
Sorry.
Just to make sure we're in the same page, because we usually don't go, we could do down to it, but what would you categorize it? I mean, one send it to us, right? But what would you categorize it on it when it comes to the pipeline? Would you categorize it under economic development or would transportation, or what are you thinking as the 2, 3
I guess
words?
that's a stormwater issue.
All right, so we'll put it under, so that way we have a category and then a subcategory, so it makes it a little bit easier. Then the environment one, okay. All right, so go ahead.
But I think in general, as we've gone through that process for the event that caused us so much consternation tonight, I think that this document needs to be clearer in general for its purpose. I think there was a lot of confusion because I hate to say it, but I think it needs to be more complex because we have what we're working on in city legislation, we have state legislation, then there's county legislation. And I think that having a slightly more robust document that we work on together and sort of talk over with each other, so we're all on the same page about what this means this year, I think that'll be really helpful for us working together as a council. Because, I think this document last year was the it was the root of a lot of our consternation amongst ourselves, and I don't want that to be happening next year.
Okay, so 100% agree with you. I think that for me, it was just like start the conversation so we could fill the document. But we had to start somewhere, okay? So we'll go ahead and like, I guess, start filling out the document with the information you give, and we'll continue filling it in collectively. But that's the good thing about starting so early, so that way when legislation season come, we have 7 months from now. So it's enough for us to iron whatever wrinkle we have in order to be even more effective. So thank you for that, okay? But do send us everything you just said, because I think I caught most of it, but not all of it. And it makes life easier for us and the staff, okay? Good?
Sounds good, thank you.
Okay. All right, Danielle?
Okay, first of all, thank you for this. As I was looking over this paper that you gave us, it
Show them all.
What?
Oh, the
Yeah, the legislative year.
Yeah.
This looks like a colorful version of what I submitted at the last meeting with the breakdowns. Only this has got a calendar of how it would unfold. Would that be a correct assumption?
I don't know. This is a calendar that I've been working with for
Okay, well, what I'm saying is the one, and I keep looking like it's up there. The one that I presented last meeting for our legislative priorities, that we would have like economic, transportation, taxes and revenue, and have the main topics, and underneath it, all of our state or the General Assembly priorities under. This looked similar to that.
Okay, talking about the pink one, not the yellow one, yeah.
No, both of them, hold on.
Okay.
This is what reminded me of that. This looks like a process on how to fill it out. Would that be correct, and a correct assumption?
So I think I will say this in the shortest way, but
yeah, please, because I only got 3 minutes.
The reason why I feel that there's been a lot of miscommunication is because I wanted to make sure that we visually see what we're talking about, so we're on the same page. So this is something that we've been trying, this is the way we've been doing it for many years, but nobody had put it like in a page to say like, look, this is what it looks like.
No, I understand what you're saying.
So in saying that, yes.
This is a process to get to that.
Yep.
Okay.
So that way we have guidelines.
We're on the same page.
But that's what I figured, like, if we could make it easier for us, it doesn't become stressful.
Time. Okay. Now, my next question. The LARs. We don't have to do those tonight.
We already we will have missed the deadline.
I know.
So,
I know. Because, I mean.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is that for next year, we can have a very comprehensive list to submit to the MML. Ideally.
I would say to you that the reason why I gave you guys this was because I told you guys in April 2027, I'm bringing back the large, so you have a whole entire year to get used to it.
Okay.
Yes.
So what I'm saying though is that we're not under the gun to do this.
No.
Okay. So what I would like to see, and I appreciate this, and I really wish I had my voice. I'd like to see this done with the LARS, city, and with our General Assembly, and have 3 separate, kind of what Joseph was talking about. So I concur with him. So I'll say the best of my language, my voice for later, but.
Yeah, so that's the idea. The idea is to that's what I broke it down into the various sections so we could fill out that document. So even if the document says at this point, large not submitted, and it takes we discussed it on this day, so we go back a year from now, there's no confusion. It'll be like on meeting X, we talked about it, so at least we're all in the same page. It's not an assumption.
Last question. The city council priorities. Is this ranked as in what's number 2 and 3?
So do you not listen with him?
No, I don't listen.
I said no. I said there's not in. So 1, 2, 3 are not in order. Those are just the 3 we're focusing on, and some will advance faster than the other ones depending on the capability of what we can do or not.
So say for instance, Councilmember Hoffpower and Jakuta agree on one that is outside of that top 3. Can we add a 4th?
No, because we're talking about 2 council members, not 3. So we usually do 3. We could do 4, 5, 6, but this is
what I'm saying is we can have more than 3 if they're good.
So I would say let's fill it up into the buckets, because the thing is, like, if we start going 3, 4, 5, 6, the staff is looking at me like, we have literally this many months to work. And if you're asking us to come with 5, 6 things that you guys need to do aside from everything else we need to do, it's hard. So if you could consider, that's what I told Joseph, so it could be economic development under water storm management, because that's the way the city will, the Mr. Kamali will see it. It's an economic growth under water storm management. So that's still economic development, but the subheading is like water storm management.
Okay, I don't get that, but, okay. All right, I'm just trying to make sure that we're not gonna cut off all of our days at 3, because if we have another one that's tied for 4, we can add a 4th if necessary.
Okay, can we, I think we're just landing on having a conversation here where it's fine. Can we go ahead and I want to add more time. Can we add 10 more minutes to the clock, please?
I move to add 10 more minutes to the clock.
Okay, second? Because I want to make sure we have
Second.
For everybody to speak. All right, so 10 minutes have been added to the clock. Any discussion? Objection, abstention, hearing none. 10 more minutes have been added. Jenny, go ahead.
And thank you. Those are my questions. Thank you.
Okay. Your worst 7.
I know I saw that.
Jenny?
Am I allowed? Okay. I appreciate the mayor saying that we could have a meeting with our delegation in September. I think that's a great idea. It would be helpful. I also share, I shared this in email, but I share Councilmember Jakuta's concern about kind of separation between city priorities, county and state priorities. So I would like clarification about that. I did speak with Greenville, Jonathan from Greenville last week about, and I've asked him for a scope of work for their lobbying capabilities at the county level. I think I disagree with, or I agree with the priorities as written, even though my input wasn't given. I agree with what my colleagues came up with collectively. I do think that we need to pay more attention to what's happening at the county level. So I hope that we can make use of Greenville's capabilities in this regard. And I thank the mayor for her excellent presentation and her expertise in legislative work. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And just to be clear, you guys, like I said, the document's going to be built by us. Right now, we're like in the equivalent of like data gathering, so that we could fulfill and we could line it up, to make it whatever works for us. I think that would make life easier, and we all could be in the same page. So 100% in agreement with that. Sorry, Valerie.
Thank you. And I think just historically, this has been a pretty simple document on purpose, so that we could all kind of agree where the staff should be pushing, and where we would, tell our lobbyists, well, there's going to be 1,000 bills. Some of them are going to be on immigration. Some of them will be on green initiatives. But the reason we focus 3 is so that we could, if they found bills that would hurt our economic development or hurt Potts Hall or hurt something else, that we would be alerted to that first as a matter of priority. So this is just a matter of prioritizing. I think the city has always been a strong supporter of green initiatives. So even though it's not on the quote unquote priority list, I think it's something that we should be always paying attention to, because we are a certified sustainable Maryland community, and we have the highest rating there. So I'm happy to work more on this document for city priorities. I think, last year we didn't add a description of it. This year I did add a description so that we were very clear on what this document does and what it doesn't do. And I think last year, or maybe the last 2 councils I've served on, there would be a main top goal, and then A, Potts Hall, B, streetscape improvement, 3 lights, or something. So that was very clear that in economic development, we had specific things that we really wanted to focus on. And I think that served us very well. But I understand that this council is different, and we should work together on that. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you so much. The other reason why the buckets are also there is for us to be aware that this is something that they're going to be scanning through. right? And, I would like to see at least this into various bucket categories, so we're aware that if something comes that it could hurt our residents, we're able to address it and make life easier for us. But I think that as long as we have an understanding of how is it that certain things happen, it makes life easier for all of us. So, and I'll be clear, the reason why I brought the LARs again, simple, so we could know what they are a year ahead. Okay, so that way there's no misunderstanding on what it is. So what I'm asking council and the community, Mr. Kamali as well, is start thinking if there's something at a state level that you see that potentially needs help that we might need to submit, because even if it doesn't get selected by Maryland Municipal League, it is in the radar of people that this is something that might be an issue or problem, and how is it that we tackle, but you also find like minds that say like, hey, this is a problem for my cities, for mine, how do we work together? But at least it allows our staff to be towards one direction. It might be 1,000 things happening, but they're focused laser. But obviously if the water breaks and spills everything, that becomes the priority, for our team, because it's like more in a survival mode. So in saying that, thank you guys, and we don't need to decide anything, but the priorities that we are going to MML for the summer conference, and we are going to meet with the secretariats like we do every year, okay? We will work on a strategy, but I think most of the time the strategy has been talked to figure out like what our priorities, in this case, 3 priorities are, and figure out if there's funding, who do we talk to, how do we able to want it, and then literally the strategy that I usually do is because Mr. Kamali is there, either I tell Mr. Kamali, you're going to be getting this information, or basically give Mr. Kamali, here's the forms that I've been collecting, but we'll go ahead and sit down and making sure that at least these 3 points is something that they know that we're looking for the state when it comes to, let's say, if we're going to switch like the lights to LED, right? Hey, what programs do you have for LED lighting? Because it's important for us to meet our green initiatives, right? That's more or less the conversations in a nicer way, obviously, right? That we have in order to make sure they know for, the City of Rainier green initiatives are important. So if more funding bills or things are happening, please let us know if you have this in your deck of cards. But it's an ability for us to have face-to-face time with the secretaries all over the state, and that has been very productive.
I always go talk about public safety.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And they have everything from the veterans office, from education, everybody. So we do a good job at sitting with each member of the secretariat, so they know that Mount Rainier is present, and we are more than happy to grab as much funding as we potentially can. All right. So I am going to ask you guys if we could have a vote on the city council priorities only, so that way we could at least agree on those as we work on the document to build it. Okay.
So just the 3 we have listed, not including the ones that were added tonight. Just for clarity.
Go ahead.
We can add Joseph's top 3. We can add Jenny's top 3. That is fine. Or I'm sorry, Councilmember Jakuda. And before we we'd vote on the priorities, the 3 priorities. Clean up the document so we're not in Ward 7, and
great.
And to make sure that we have Jenny or Councilmember Jakuda and Hoffpower's priorities. I think that's fine.
Yeah. So I think, Jenny, correct me if I'm wrong, you were in agreement with them, and Joseph I could hear you a little bit, but go ahead.
I said, Mary, if I may,
Go ahead.
I wanted to suggest an alternative, because I do think we need to work on this a little more so we're all on the same page. As I think we're not quite there yet, at least as far as my view of where we are. So I'm wondering if we could consider tacking on a special legislative session onto the very end of next week, so we could work this out in work session and then vote on it next week.
So how about I propose this to you, because we have my schedule is tapped, because you have to remember it's early voting for the primary starts on the 11th. So I think everybody's hands are on deck, making sure we are working for democracy. But yeah, it's good. No,
I just meant we have our meeting next Tuesday, the work session on
So
the
we could
9th.
always have a
We
legislative
would
meeting.
also have a special legislative session at the end of it and
Yeah.
vote on it then.
That's what I was gonna tell you, like, after we could go ahead and do it, we just focus on that one point because it's, so that way we could like work on that work session and out. I'm fine with that, but I cannot, honestly, I cannot tackle no more meetings. I'm like maxed out right now. So
I don't want to get, I just don't want us to go down the path we went last year on the stuff.
that's understandable. So are we all in agreement to bring whatever we need to do to a work session and vote after the work session on the same day, not come any more time? We're good? Yes? Okay, so, for Melissa, Mr. Kamali, we're requesting legislative meeting for that one item to vote on our priorities. And mind you, we don't have to address large and everything else. It's just the one thing, Okay? All right, so I need to have a voice agreement to make sure we're on it, Jenny?
Yes.
Danielle?
Yes.
Valerie?
Yes.
Joseph?
Yes.
Okay, so come fully prepared if you see anything, but if there's anything you guys could fulfill under the subcategories that we already have, that will make life a lot easier for all of us as well. Okay? All right. But the new item number 9, discussion and vote on FY27 legislative calendar. Councilmember Hoffbauer will present an FY27 legislative calendar to the mayor and council. So Jenny, this is yours. Go ahead. Melissa, can you put the screen on?
I understand that the council, in my absence, voted, or the consensus among the council was to keep the regular meeting on the first Tuesday of each month and the work session on the third Tuesday of every month. And that a compromise was reached that the first meeting in September would be a combined regular meeting and work session, and the last meeting in June would be a combined regular meeting and work session. So this and the calendar I had originally created had mistakenly listed November 3rd as the regular meeting. Well, it was correct given that it's the first Tuesday of the month, but given it's the election day, it was suggested that it be moved. So this calendar was created based upon my understanding of the consensus of the council at the work session. But obviously, if there are changes that need to be made to it, then I suggest we make them now and pass it today so that we can be prepared for September.
Okay, thank you so much. So council, I'm gonna go through you guys and for the community, we have edited this calendar because sometimes what we do not foresee is when the MML meeting is. That's the reason why we switch our calendar, the conference. That's the reason why we switch our calendars because we were going to be in Ocean City and realistically there was no way we're going to go to the conference, drive 3 hours, drive back and be ready to be fully active the next morning. It was going to be impossible. So in order for us to do it, so there are potentially going to be changes, but usually when we change the calendar, we bring it to the work session. We tell you why we're switching it, and then we're on it, but it's open to that. But I do have a question for you guys. I know it was discussed and I apologize. Why do we call them regular meeting and not just legislative meeting so that way people know that it's voting? Are you guys open to calling them legislative meeting? Because
Regular
it's a
meeting is
difference.
what's in the council rules.
So why would they decide that? So I don't know what you guys want to do because regular meeting tells me nothing more than it's a regular meeting. So we might have to fix that in the council rules as well. Is there, go ahead, Valerie.
The only question I have is March 16th. I'm sorry, February 16th. There are 2 regular meetings and no work sessions.
Yeah, so that has to be
We're not working in February.
We're double work. We're just voting on that meeting. We're going to vote on voting.
Sorry, it's a typo.
Otherwise,
Mayor, I just wanted to suggest the changing regular meeting to
Legislative.
or legislative meeting to regular meeting to reflect our charter.
Our charter or our council rules?
Our charter, because we have regular and special meetings. But if you want to say legislative meeting and just maybe there's a note somewhere that says
be in the
all the
bottom.
legislative meetings are regular meetings under the charter, that'd make me happy and I'd be fine with.
Yeah, I'm fine with that because I think, I'll tell you this, if I tell communities a regular meeting, they're gonna be like, so is the work session irregular? It's still a regular meeting. It's a little weird, but I'm happy with adding that if that makes everybody happy. So that way people know like it's a voting meeting and it takes the essence of that. So there has been a proposal put on the floor to change into regular, from regular to legislative meeting and just add in the bottom, like the charter calls them regular meetings. Are we good with that? So I'm gonna go voice vote. And if it is, we will make also the adjustment from the 2nd and the 16th to read how do you call it, legislative and regular and legislative work session.
Can I say my piece first?
Yeah.
I just want to make it known, I still think we need to start with a work session and then with legislation session. But I am willing to go along with this calendar.
Your voice is getting worse by the second.
Well, that's because I'm talking.
Be careful with that, because I was 3 days with no voice after that.
Well, no, I just got my voice back today. I just want to make sure it's on the record that I still feel that it's more logical to start with a work session and then with legislative. But of course, I'm going to go along with the consensus.
Yeah, and we have them there. The idea is like we have both of them, so whatever one is the.
No, I meant on a regular basis.
So I'm saying, so it's going to be that usually the legislature is like, welcome back. Hi, how are you? And this is what we're going to tackle. And then you go into a work session if needed. And if it's needed, it's needed. Okay, so I need to hear if we are, first of all, if we're in agreement to call them legislative meeting and put in double asterisk in the bottom that says like, the Joseph, send it to us, but that says like, per the charter, legislative meetings start regular meetings. Okay? Yes? That was it?
Yeah.
Okay, so Jenny?
Yes.
Danielle?
Yep.
Valerie?
Yes.
Joseph?
Yes.
Joseph, you don't know this, but I have a little tiny sticky that has a little arrow, so I don't forget to like call your name. Because I was like Joseph, because you're being blocked by my computer. All right, so this is a voting item to make sure like they're able to put it through. Or you need to send it to him.
No, I got it.
It's not in the best handwriting, but so 2 changes to the calendar that was presented. The February 2nd is going to be the regular meeting, and the 16th is the work session. And a note will be, all the other ones that says regular will be changed to legislative, and a note will be added that the legislative session per the chart regular meetings. Yes?
Yes.
Okay, so that motion's on the floor.
Second.
It's been probably moved and second. Any discussion? All right, so I'm gonna ask for any abstentions? Objections here none. We have adopted our 2027 calendar. Thanks you guys so much, Jenny. Thank you for putting this together as well. All right, this one should fly fast. Item number 11, vote on approval of the minutes. Mayor and council vote on approving the minutes for April 21st, 2026 work session and FY 2027 budget meeting, May 5th, 2026 legislative meeting. Do I have a motion on the floor?
I move to approve the minutes as presented.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is it probably moved and second? Any discussion? Hearing none. Any objections? Abstentions? Hearing none, this item passes 500. Item number 12, presentation of minutes. The city clerk will present the May 19 work session minutes to the mayor and council. They are in your package, and the only thing I will ask for the last meeting, we could include the minutes so we could vote on them, okay? So we could have at least one less minute we have to worry about it. Okay? So, all right. So, can I have a motion for adjournment, please?
I move to adjourn.
Second?
Second.
This meeting, any discussion? Objection, abstention? the almost last meeting of legislative has come to an end, and we'll see you guys in about 2 weeks.
No, next Tuesday. Oh.
We will see you next Tuesday, 7 p.m. Come hang out with us. All right, so we'll be having, just for record, a legislative meeting and a work session, a legislative meeting. The legislative meeting will have the two different points, which is the minutes and priorities. All right, thank you guys so much.